Hello and welcome to TD's Pokemon Lab. I'm TD and this is my lab. Today we're unboxing another box of 10 Pokemon cards I sent to PSA and got them back in this box, professionally packaged. Let's get them out here and see what grades I got. Alright, let's go. We are looking at a 1999 Pokemon Fossil set, Omanyte, a first edition, the number 52 card of this set. Looking at the front of this card, it's very clean. I like it. There's no scratches, creases, or bends on the surface. Looking at our centering from left to right and top to bottom, I think it's slightly towards the bottom, and left to right, I think it's within the tolerances. Looking at the corners and our edges, I do not see any damage there at all. Looking at the back of the card, our surface is nice and clean. There's no creases, bends, or scratches to mar the surface. Looking at our centering from left to right, I think it might be slightly towards the left, and top to bottom centering is a little bit towards the bottom. Looking at the corners and the edges, I do not see any damage there. And that's going to get us a grade of mid-9. That's pretty darn good. We are looking at a 1999 Pokemon Fossil set Psyduck, a first edition, the number 53 card of this set. Looking at the front of this card, the graphics are bright. The surface is free of any creases, bends, or scratches. Our centering from top to bottom and left to right, I think all are within the tolerance or very close. Looking at our corners and our edges, I do not see any damage. Flipping the card over and looking at the back, our surface shows no signs of any creases, bends, or scratches. Our centering from left to right and top to bottom, I think those are really close to the tolerance. It might be slightly towards the top. Looking at our corners and our edges, I think they are also free of damage. And this card's going to get a grade of mid-9. Wow. I thought it might be a 10, but maybe not. Here is a 1999 Pokemon Fossil set Shellder, a first edition, the number 54 card of the set. Shellder's graphics are very clean. There's no scratches, creases, or bends on the surface of this card. Looking at our corners and our edges, they are free of any damage. And looking at our centering from left to right and top to bottom, I think it's slightly towards the right and slightly towards the top. Looking at the back of the card, our surface is free of any creases, bends, scratches, or any other damage. Our centering from top to bottom and left to right is towards the left and actually towards the top quite a bit. Looking at our corners and our edges, there's some specks of damage down that right edge. And they're going to give us a grade of mid-9. That's not too shabby. We are looking at a 1999 Pokemon Fossil set Slowpoke, a first edition, the number 55 card. Looking at the front of this card, the graphics are clean. There's no scratches, creases, or bends on the surface of this card. Our centering from left to right and top to bottom is slightly towards the right and a little bit towards the top. Looking at our corners and our edges, I think they are free of any damage that would affect any grade. Looking at the back of the card, our surface is just as good as the front, free of any creases, bends, or scratches. Our center from top to bottom and left to right is slightly towards the left and towards the top. Looking at our corners and our edges, those are actually pretty clean. And that's going to get us a grade of mid-9. I'll take 9s all day long. Here's a 1999 Pokemon Fossil set Tentacool, a first edition, the number 56 card. Our surface is free of any creases, bends, or scratches, or any damage to the graphics. Looking at our centering from top to bottom and left to right, I think it's slightly towards the bottom. Left to right looks pretty good. Looking at our corners and our edges, I think they are free of any damage. The back of the card looks really good. Our surface is free of any creases, bends, or any other damage. Our centering from top to bottom is towards the top. Centering from left to right is a little bit towards the left. Looking at the corners and our edges, I think they are free of damage or any other problems. And that's going to get us a grade of mid-9. That's their story and they're sticking to it. This card is a 1999 Pokemon Fossil set Zubat, a first edition, the number 57 card. Looking at the front of this card, Zubat's graphics are very vibrant. There's no scratches, creases, or bends on the surface of this card. Looking at our centering from left to right and top to bottom, I think it's slightly towards the bottom. Left to right looks maybe slightly towards the left. Looking at the corners and our edges, I do not see any damage on them at all. Taking a look at the back of the card, our surface is free of any creases, bends, scratches, or any other damage that affects the graphics. Looking at our centering from left to right and top to bottom, I think it's towards the bottom and towards the right a little bit. Looking at our corners and edges, there's some very, very slight damage on that upper right corner. and will receive a grade of Mint 9. That's pretty darn good. Check out this 1999 Pokemon Fossil Set Mr. Fuji, a first edition trainer, the number 58 card of the set. Look at the front of this card, it's very clean. I do not see any scratches, creases, or bends, or any other thing that will affect the graphics. Looking at our centering from left to right and top to bottom, I think it's slightly towards the right and maybe a little bit towards the top. Looking at our corners and our edges, I do not see any damage. Flipping the card over and looking at the back, our surface is free of any creases, bends, scratches, or any other damage. Looking at our centering from left to right and top to bottom, I think it's pretty close to the tolerance from top to bottom. From left to right, I think it might be slightly towards the left. Looking at our corners and our edges, there is some damage on that upper edge and on that upper right corner. That's going to get us a grade of near mint 8. Wow, I didn't think that damage was that bad. Let's look at this 1999 Pokemon Fossil Set Energy Search, a first edition trainer, the number 59 card of the set. Looking at the front of this card, I like the graphics on here. They're very clean. There's no scratches, creases, or bends. Looking at our centering from left to right and top to bottom, I think it's slightly towards the bottom, but left to right looks really close to the tolerance. Looking at the corners and edges of this card, I do not see any damage. As we look to the back of the card, our surface is free of any bends, creases, or scratches, or any other damage to the surface or graphics of the card. Looking at our centering from left to right, I think it's pretty close to tolerance. Centering from top to bottom, that's pretty close to tolerance, I think, also. And looking at our corners and our edges, I think they are free of any damage. And that's going to get us a grade of Mint 9. I'll take it every day. We are looking at a 1999 Pokemon Fossil Set Gambler, a first edition trainer, the number 60 card of the set. Looking at the front of this card, you can see that it's very clean. There's no scratches, creases, or bends. Our centering from top to bottom and left to right looks a little towards the left, and top to bottom might be within the tolerance. Looking at the corners and edges, I do not see any damage there at all. Checking out the back of the card, our surface is free of any damage like creases, bends, or scratches. The graphics look great. Looking at our centering from top to bottom, or slightly towards the bottom and left to right, I think it might be slightly towards the right, but really close to the tolerance. Looking at our corners and our edges, they are free of any damage. And that's going to get us a grade of Mint 9. Man, those are great. Let me show you this 1999 Pokemon Fossil Set Recycle, a first edition trainer, the number 61st card of the set. Looking at this card, it looks really nice. I don't see any problems on the graphics. No creases, bends, or scratches on the surface of the card. Our centering from left to right, I think, is slightly towards the left. Centering top to bottom looks pretty close to the tolerance. Looking at our corners and our edges, I do not see any damage that will affect the grade. As we gander at the back of the card, our centering from left to right is a little bit towards the right. Centering from top to bottom, I think, is slightly towards the bottom. Our corners and our edges do not show any damage, just like our surface doesn't show any damage like creases, bends, or scratches. And they'll give us a grade of Mint 9. Man, 9s are great, but 10s are better. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video and the cards that I presented. Please like and subscribe, and always remember, you gotta catch them all. Have an awesome day, people.